All right, I don't know about you, but I first heard about the Teachers Pay Teachers conference, and pretty much the first thing that I thought was, is it worth it? I am one of those people who just wants to make sure that anywhere I'm investing any kind of money, especially in my business, is going to give me a return on my investment. So if you are someone who's kind of like on the fence, not sure if you should attend a TPT conference, we're going to tackle in this video, is it worth it? And we're also going to talk specifically about the 2021 TPT conference. That's this one that I just attended, and specifically some of the things that I have learned and takeaways and things like that. So if you're wondering about future conferences, this is a great video. If you're signed up for the virtual conference this year and you want to know what to watch, this is a great video. And if you just want some takeaways and you didn't get to go, this is a great video. So it's kind of, it's great all around. So I hope you're excited. This video is also extra special because it's a collaboration with a few other teacher YouTuber. So I'm gonna link their videos down in the description so that you can check out their thoughts, their favorite sessions, because we're all gonna have different thoughts and ideas about this year's conference, so that you can, you know, see what they think versus what I think. So once you're finished watching this, make sure you go watch all of theirs. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe buttons while you're at it. Now we're all going to answer the same questions to kind of keep it uniform throughout, and the first few are just like quick fire questions, just quick little answers. So number one is, how many conferences have you been to? I've been to 2, and they have both been virtual. So last year, the conference I was signed up to go and it got canceled, and then this year it also again got canceled, so fingers crossed for next year. Number 2, do you prefer conferences face-to-face or virtual? I haven't been to the face-to-face ones yet because they have both been canceled. I would like to go to the face-to-face specifically for the networking purposes of it, and just because it's fun to, you know, like go places. But I will say, as far as like just the conference like material goes, I love virtual conferences. I know that that's like the opposite of everyone else in the world, but I love them because if we had gone face-to-face to the conference, we wouldn't get to watch all the videos and we wouldn't get to see all the things. And, you know, I can kind of go at my own pace. I can eat my own snacks. I can cuddle up with my doggy and all of that good stuff. Just like, it's much more comfortable in your own environment. So I actually really like virtual conferences for those 2 reasons. You get more content at your own pace and in your own environment. That being said, I would love to go in person so I can actually like talk to people. That's kind of the main, even though I'm a huge introvert, that's kind of the main advantage that I see in going to a conference, is that you can actually do some networking. You can talk to people who like share your struggles and kind of get that community aspect that you don't really get as much on virtual. These are supposed to be quick questions, sorry. And number 3 is, was there a workshop or presentation that you were most looking forward to? Honestly, I didn't even look at what was being offered. I just signed up knowing I wanted to go, and then I knew there were some sessions. That was about all that I had. I did no research. It was just great last year, so I went this year. And then number 4 is, did you do anything to prepare for this conference? No, I did not. I had no preparations. I had nothing ready. So that's where we are. Okay, so now these next questions are a review of the conference. So the first one is, what was your overall impression of the conference? My overall impression was that it was really great. Loved it. It was lots of information, lots of really tactile things you can take away, which y'all know my favorite is, you know, those step-by-step, like what can I actually do after this session. And so overall my impression was pretty good. Definitely got my money's worth. Number 2 is, what workshops did you find most beneficial to growing your TPT store or business? Now, full disclosure, I have not watched all of the videos, which I might get to this later, but that's a little tip for you, is that if you are doing a virtual conference, you don't have to watch all of the videos. Last year, I felt like I had to watch every single one in its entirety, but the truth is that there's a lot of people on TPT, which means that the sessions are very varied. So some are for people who are just getting started, and I don't necessarily need to watch those because I'm not just getting started. And others are people talking about like ads and stuff like that, and I don't currently do ads, so I might watch them as a like, okay, you know, getting ready and just kind of thinking, so I have some kind of information about the future and what I want to do in the future, but I don't need to act on those yet. And these over here, I don't really need to watch because they're, you know, kind of they're for people who are more beginner than I am. I can watch them, and I have watched some that I was kind of like, oh, do I need this? And I have gotten some good tips, and I've watched others that I really didn't need to watch, and I was like, it was a good presentation, but I didn't learn much from it. So it's kind of like Goldilocks, you know, there's things that are going to be too high for you, too low for you, and things that are in the middle. You're welcome to watch whatever you want to, but you don't have to watch them all. Last year I felt like I had to watch every single one, every single word, every single minute, and this year I've been a lot more choosy, mostly because I have not had a lot of time. I'm currently, this week is when the TPT conference started, and I also started my Code I Level 1 course for all my music people, which is intense, which means that I have not had a ton of time to do this. Normally I could like sit around all day and watch videos, so I've had to be very choosy about what I'm watching. So I have not watched all of them, and I have not finished all the ones that I'm gonna watch, and some of them I'm gonna watch again. So the ones that I'm gonna share with you are the ones that I am currently planning to watch again, because this time I kind of just watched it and I was like doing other things throughout it. You know, I was cleaning and I was, you know, doing this, that, and the other. And so I want to go back on some of them and watch them again and like take notes and really pay more attention. And the beauty of a virtual conference is that you can do that. Okay, so ones that I have loved. It Pays to Stay Hip, Using Current Events and Marketing Trends to Grow Your Business with Cindy Martin. That one was super good. It had lots of ideas I have never thought of before in my life, and I am like, yes, I'm here for it. So I'm really excited. She gave lots of step-by-step. I'm gonna go back and watch it again and take lots and lots of notes and just make sure that I have everything that I want to glean out of that before the end of the month, when you can no longer check out the material anymore. I also really loved the Instagram bootcamp for teacher authors with Michelle Griffo. That one again had lots of actionable ideas, lots of specific things that you can implement into your Instagram strategy, and it was really inspiring to me to hear someone who actually like makes money off of Instagram, because I feel like I have a hard time with converting my Instagram followers into buyers. I have a much better time converting my Instagram followers into email list subscribers who then purchase from me, but I don't get a lot of direct traffic from Instagram, which could be just because Instagram's mobile and you can't buy things on TPT mobile. So there is that, but still it just feels a little bit different. On that same vein, The Secret to Social Media Success, Brand Storytelling and Video with Nikki Dingraudo. I hope I said that right. I'm sorry, Nikki. So good, really specific, really great and actionable. And again, I would highly recommend those two. And then, oh my gosh, The 8 Essential Skills of Writing Compelling Copy with Joshua Cabral. I'm gonna watch that one multiple times because it was so good, and copy is something I really want to improve, and that was something I knew I wanted to work on. Copy is just the words, basically, when you're trying to sell something. And the descriptions in your TPT, your social media descriptions, if you're trying to sell something, all of that kind of stuff. So those are probably the ones that I have been the most excited about, that I think that I have gleaned the most out of. Now, full disclosure, I have not watched all of them. I still haven't watched the Pinterest one by Alex Baxter, and that's on my list to watch as well. So I'll probably I'm sure that I will like that one. I just haven't hit it yet. The next question is, do you have one or two major takeaways? Major takeaways for me, one is, I guess it's not revolutionary, but everybody talked about being strategic. And it was really interesting to me to hear all the social media sessions talking about being strategic and having a purpose behind all of your social media things. And it's so funny because I looked up one of the people, and the first thing was like about ice cream, and I was like, what? And then I was watching her session, and she was talking about how, you know, she has very certain things that she does and how she tells a story in both her personal life and her business life on Instagram. And it was just really helpful to see like how specific of a takeaway that is. Another thing that was really good about the sessions, and kind of a key takeaway for me, is that a lot of them talked about differentiating your resources, which is something I tell you to do, but different ways to differentiate your resources. And so I watched one of the Google Slides presentations where they had like all these different ways you can do Google Slides, and talking about using trends to differentiate your resource, and then having a way where you can take a current event, make a resource about it, and then turn it into something that's evergreen afterwards, which I love. That was a great thing. Thank you, Cynthia. Because that's always my concern about things that are, you know, trendy, is that they're not going to be trendy forever. And I'm like, what do I do when they're no longer making me money? Why would I waste my time on that? And so that really helped open my eyes. And that even in the compelling copy, they were talking about, Joshua was talking about how you have to highlight what differentiates your resource to help people to purchase from you. Because if they don't see why your resource is better than other people's, then they're just gonna go for the cheaper one. But if they see that your resource has something in it that's better, that's gonna be great. Another one that I watched was, I don't have this one written down, but it was really good. So the New Year, New You with Kristen Hammond, she talked a lot about that as well, in like using your thumbnails and your previews to really highlight what's different about your resource than other resources that might be similar, and why people need to purchase from you in your thumbnails and your previews. So I'm like excited to kind of revamp my thumbnails and see how I can use my thumbnails to really help promote my products more than just like, hey, here's what it looks like. The next one is, were you surprised by anything said or any events that happened? Not particularly. I wouldn't say I was surprised by anything really. Maybe I haven't watched them all and that's why I'm saying no, but so far it all seems pretty straightforward. Number 5 is, were there any hacks or best practices that you picked up? Yes. If a video you're watching does not apply to you, click out of it. There are so many that I started and I was like, again, this is a great presentation. It would be so helpful. It's not helpful for me because I already know how to do these things. And again, some of them I found helpful and I still like gleaned things out of. But if you start watching something and you're like, okay, I don't really need this, feel free to click out of it and go find something else that's more relevant to where you are now. Or if you start watching something and you're like, I don't know what any of this stuff is, feel free to click out and start watching something else instead. Your time is precious. You don't have to watch them all. And that's the end. Number 2 is something that you're gonna freak out. You're gonna freak out. Hang on. I know you expected the friction pens, didn't you? It's not the friction pens, it's not the notebooks, it's not the planners, it's my iPad. So I downloaded this app. I know I'm doing digital notes. Who am I don't know. So I told you I'm taking a course, and for the course I downloaded this app. It's called Notability. It's not a new one, lots of people use it, but I started using it to take notes for my course because I was like, I have books everywhere, I have these like PDFs I need to mark up, and I have things that I need to read and like all this stuff, and I was like, this is a lot of printing, and then I have, you know, just, it was just like papers everywhere. And so I downloaded this app instead, and I've been taking notes with my Apple Pen, and it's changed my life. It's really, really great. And so I started using it for the TPT conference as well, because you can just easily make a little note. You can type in them, so you can actually get the app on your computer too, which is super helpful for my course because I need to like type out in rhythm notation, and it's easier on the computer. Not relevant to this, but you can type or you can write, which is what I prefer because I like the feeling of writing. You can change your colors, and you can record audio, which is really awesome. So if somebody like says a quote that's really good, you can record it, or a little section that you like need to hear a couple of times, you can record that little section and it saves it to your note. So like this is, I didn't do that on the TPT ones, but here I'll show you where it is on like my choir one. These are all like songs that I recorded that people did. So I haven't done that for TPT notes, but I have been using it for the TPT notes just to keep it all in one spot and make it nice and easy. I know you're gonna be shocked. It was like $8, but it's worth $8. And I think I've only ever paid for like 3 apps ever in my life, this being one of them. So that would tell you why it's great. Also, along with that, one more thing. I also got this screen protector that's a paper feel, and it makes a huge difference in my handwriting because it's so much easier to write with just a little teeny tiny bit of resistance. It's not like sandpaper, it's just like a tiny bit of resistance, just like a paper would be, instead of the smooth glass. So that's been really great. I will link that down below. It was super cheap and it's a great time. So those, I know, my digital hacks. One more thing, if you are a music teacher and you happen to have a music stand laying around, last year I found it really helpful because I watched on my iPad, because I think it was while my computer was broken and I hadn't got my new one yet. I put my iPad on my music stand, and that was really helpful because I can move it around the house and kind of like adjust the height and all of that kind of stuff. This year I've just been watching on my computer, and so I haven't had that issue. But if you're watching on your iPad, use your music stand to prop it up. If you don't have a music stand, I don't think they're expensive. You can go buy one if you want to, or you know, whatever. Number 6, what would you tell a new or seasoned TPT seller who have never attended the conference about the conference? Number 1, don't be scared to do it. I would highly recommend it. I know it's an investment money wise, but it is so worth it. Number 2 is there are sessions for everybody, which means that even if you're brand new, there's stuff that you can watch. Even if you've been around for a while, there's stuff that you can watch that are helpful and useful to you wherever you are in your life. And number 3 is, again, you don't have to watch them all. So if you are brand new, you don't need to watch these things that are way up here that are way too high. And if you are really seasoned, you don't need to watch these beginner things either. There's something for everybody, and you don't have to feel like you need to watch everything in its entirety unless you want to. And I heard other people who have been around for a while that were watching the beginning sessions just kind of for fun. And there's still, again, stuff you can glean, but if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to watch it. Don't feel pressured. I feel very pressured to watch every single minute of everything. That's why I'm really emphasizing that. Like, you don't have to. Number 7, do you think you will attend the TPT conference next year? Yes. TPT conference next year is in Chicago if it's in person, and they did say that it will be virtual and in person. So I'd highly recommend that you at least do it virtual. If you want to go in person, that's great. I don't know if we'll go in person or not, just like logistics wise. I'm not sure what's gonna be going on in a year from now, but I will for sure be doing it virtually if I'm not there in person. All right, friends, so those are all of the questions that I have. I hope that that was helpful. The main thing I want you to get out of it is that no matter where you are in your TPT journey, there's probably something that's helpful for you. And so I would recommend that you do the conference, especially since they're offering it online again. That makes it so much more accessible to people, especially if you don't live, you know, anywhere near Chicago. I mean, I'm at least in the United States, so I have that going for me, but I'm not very close to Illinois at all. So it's the virtual aspect makes it so much more accessible. It also makes it so you can watch all of the videos. I hope you'll attend next year, virtually or in person. The moral of the story is it worth it? 100% yes. Yeah, it was well worth the money. If I had been paying for those sessions alone, at least, I mean, even if I had paid for each one individually, I would say after watching 3, you have probably paid for it, and maybe even 2 if people are more expensive. So just thinking of like how much a masterclass would be if you purchase just, you know, one masterclass that's 30 minutes or an hour, yeah, you get your money's worth. So highly recommend it, and hopefully we can go in person and actually like talk to people as well. So like I mentioned, this is a collaboration with some other teacher sellers. So in the links in the description, I'm going to have links to It's All Primary, Teacher Tech Files, and the Timely Teacherpreneur. So definitely check out their channels and their videos as well. And if you went to the conference, I would love to know what your favorite sessions are and what your key takeaways are, because we're all in different spots in our journey, which means that we all found different things helpful and we all got different things out of the conference. And so I'm really curious what you got out of it, especially if you are watching this in real time, because we have access to the conference till I think the end of July, which means that we can still go back and watch things. So if there's one that you really recommend, let me know below and I will make sure that I check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.